How to buy bee pollen online. Now, when people want to look for bee pollen, right, the most obvious answer for them, most people nowadays research online. They go through Google, probably Bing, and they just type in bee pollen online, right? And there's several places you can buy bee pollen online. Where you buy it from online really doesn't really matter. Buying online is convenient. You could reorder the type of bee pollen that you want. Another convenience is it ships directly to your door. You don't have to leave your house. You could also go buy bee pollen locally. However, there are some questions you have to ask any seller of bee pollen before you even buy bee pollen. So, 3 important questions to ask. Number 1 is, where do they harvest their bee pollen? This is extremely important because you want to know exactly where this bee pollen was sourced. Why is this important? Because bee pollen is a natural product. If the bee pollen is contaminated with pollution, then basically it's not as effective as if it was pure. So similarly, if you ever tried fish oils, depending on where the fish is harvested, you want the best fish oil, because if you don't want to be consuming bee pollen that has pollution in it, because it's going to cause you problems for your health in the long term. You might be able to get some benefits because it still contains some amount of bee pollen, but what you ultimately want is a bee pollen product that is pure and that is sourced from areas with very low to no pollution. One place that comes to mind is any bee pollen product that comes out of New Zealand. New Zealand is a country that is far away from North America and China. It's just kind of by itself. And humans only been there for about 100 years, I think. And basically that place is very pollution free, and also there's very stringent government regulations in place that protect the environment. If you don't know where New Zealand is, if you've ever watched the movies Lord of the Rings and seen those scenes of the environment, that's where it was filmed, in New Zealand. Second question you have to ask is, what quality control standards have they implemented in the production of their bee pollen? What I mean by this is, are they using a heat process to produce the bee pollen, or are they using a frozen dry process? What kind of other processes are in place in the company to ensure high quality product? Are they using good manufacturing practices? These are all important questions to ask the manufacturer, the distributor, or whoever you're buying it from, to know. Basically what you ultimately want is, you want a company that does follow good manufacturing practices, which is an international standard for companies to produce good products. And also, you want to know if their bee pollen is using a frozen dry method or doesn't use a heat dry method. A heat dry method, what it does is it kind of destroys most of the nutrients if you use a heat dry method. So that you don't want. And the third question to answer is basically, how long has the company been in business? Because of the bee pollen recent popularity, there have been many companies, many distributors who have been buying low quality bee pollen from China, renaming it, using the angle as weight loss, or and adding extra stuff into it like ginseng and stuff, and it's not safe, right? And basically these companies are just kind of like popping up. So you want to ask how long the company has been in business. Like, are they only selling bee pollen? That might be a red flag. Although there are some companies that do only produce bee pollen that might have good bee pollen supplements, right? However, you should buy your pollen from a company who sells other vitamins, they must be in the vitamin supplement business, right? It just makes sense. And I'd say 5 years or more would be a good starting point. So that's all I have to say about how to buy bee pollen online. If you guys want more information on how what kind of company I'd personally recommend to buy bee pollen from that answers all these questions, please see the link below in the description.